Hello and welcome back. This is Dmac, and today I thought it might be fun to have another play with this training lock. So this is made to a lock noob recipe. He did an excellent video on this. I just copied him to make this one when I first started picking, and this gives us a good view into all of the chambers when we're picking. But the reason I wanted to do the video was to feature these pins. So these are rattlesnake pins that I've made. I've done a video on how I make these. I'll perhaps pop a link to that below if you wanted to try making them yourselves. So they're essentially a spooled pin, and then you've got all these floating discs or floating wafers. I keep referring to them as wafers, but they're not technically wafers. They're more just like floating discs. We've got a couple there that you can see. So these are just sections of brass tube that have been cut down, and they can be cut down to various thicknesses. These ones, if I can get a hold of it, yeah, these ones are quite thin, and that gives us this kind of pin where yeah, the wafers are quite thin, or the discs are quite thin, and they've got a lot of room to move around. So I think that should cause difficulty when you're trying to pick it. They're certainly going to get snagged up in there. And then you've got ones like this, and this has only got 3 of those floating wafers or discs on there, and these can move about a fair bit too. Just a sort of, yeah, slightly thicker disc. And then we've got others like this. I think that's got 3 off. It's got 4 on it, and there's not as much movement on this one, so it should operate more like a serrated, and there's less chance of those wafers or discs getting kind of caught up in the keyway. What I thought it might be fun to do is to pop all of those into this training lock and just kind of see how it picks. See how they behave when you're trying to pick them, and what to look out for if you sort of are facing those kind of pins. So this training lock doesn't have any counter milling or anything nasty that you'd probably find in certainly in my challenge locks. There'd be threading and counter milling and all sorts for them to get caught up on. But I think they'll cause us enough problems just picking this. So we've got some fairly easy bitting on that, but that should help me along as I try to get it picked. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pop all of these pins into the Bible there, get them all loaded up in the vise, and get you a really nice close-up so you can see what's going on. I think what I'll do is I'll just pick the lock, and then I'll sort of come back and voice over the video so I can really sort of look at what's going on, and yeah, give you a bit of a commentary on what I was kind of trying to achieve as I was picking it, and perhaps also just looking to see how those pins are moving about, because I think you'll get different feedback each time you pick it, possibly because those floating discs can be in different positions. So yeah, let me get all of this loaded up into the lock, into the vise, and we can have some fun. So I've got them secured in the vise and just checking that the key works. I think it's interesting to note that as the key comes out, a lot of those pins and some of the wafers stay above the shear line. And I think that's the nature of rattlesnake pins and why they can be tricky to pick, because it essentially randomises the way the pins fall. I guess you may be lucky and some may stay above the shear line as you start to pick, or you could be unlucky and they all sort of fall down. But what it means is that you could potentially get a different picking experience each time. So I'm just going through the pin stacks there, feeling for a binder, and they kind of feel very much like serrated pins, I find when I'm picking them, in that you want quite light tension and just testing each pin, and once you get a click out of a pin, just move on to the next one and slowly work your way up and down the stack. So it looks like 3 set now. And 6 is set as well. And we've got 1 set, 2. But just going through the stack, just feeling for binders, and we've got 2 bind in there. 6 has dropped down, and 2's dropped down as well. I think that's the trouble with these pins I've found. You've got, because those wafers or floating discs are free to move about up and down and left and right, it means that if they're at a slight diagonal as you're picking them, there's a good chance that as you're setting one pin, you're going to force another chamber to drop back down, so you do end up chasing your towel quite a lot. There's a lot, I think all of the pins there, oh no, two's still set, but everything else has dropped back down. And you'll see as well, I think in 3 and 4, that all of the wafers, all of the floating discs are above shear line, but the actual pin itself is still dropping down, so we haven't been able to bind the head of the pin yet. So we've got 1, 2 and 3 set, and 4 by the looks of it. 5 or 6 is set, it's just 5 now if I can find it. The last pin to set. This is the one with the fine wafers on. So they're very tight serrations, and we've got lots of pins dropping down. So this is the first time I've tried overdubbing a video. So hopefully the quality will be okay. It's quite interesting to watch, because when I was picking this, I was blind picking it. Very difficult to do because you've got the whole camera rig set up in front of you. But yeah, so I'm just trying to sort of feel my way through those stacks, and it looks like, with the exception of pin 1, everything else has dropped down. Although we do have those floating wafers above shear still in 2, 3, 4 and 6. So hopefully if I can get these the actual driver pin heads up, then we've got a chance of getting it picked. But it is, I found with this particular lock, all populated with the rattlesnake pins, that is a bit like 2 steps forward and 1 step back, slowly progressing, but you do drop pins, it's just inevitable. I think everything's dropped there. Oh no, 5 is set, 1 is almost set, but not quite. I think the head's just hanging down below shear. Got 5 and 6 set, 1 is set now, 6 dropped down, 2 is set. So from dropping all the pins, I think I'm slowly working my way back to a fully set position. Hopefully this looks like it'll be open pretty soon. 1, 2, 3 are all set, so it's just 4, 5 and 6. Just feeling there, I can't feel anything in those first 3 chambers, but 4 is binding. Still binding. And there we go, so 1, 2, 3 and 4 are set. Just again on that, and 6 is set as well, just on that last pin. And again, a big full set, you can't quite see it as well in the pictures, but lots of counter rotation. So it's just 4 and 5 to set, that's 4 set, so it's just 5, but 6 has dropped down. And there we go, we have got the open. So quite a battle really to get him open. I was just rotating the core 360 here, so the key pins have dropped down into the bottom of the keyway, so I'm just lifting them with the back of the pick so that I can turn the plug all the way around. And there we go, we have got our open. Well, I found that quite interesting. It was really nice to see close up exactly what's going on. I mean, these training locks where you can see into lock are great, but I think the temptation is when you do use them, certainly when I use them, I tend to spend more time looking down the side rather than this kind of view to where you would normally pick it, and all I'm doing is watching where my pick's going. So it's nice to be able to pick the lock and then see, you know, really what was going on and kind of analyze it. Yeah, it was definitely a fun pick, and what I thought was good was the amount of times. Well, at one point, I think I had the whole lock picked, and it was only pin 5 to set, and just getting him up to the shear line knocked everything down, and I pretty much went back to square one. I think the other thing I'd take away from this and use when I'm making these pins in future, I think first of all, the pins that don't have much movement, this one here was pretty much like a serrated pin, you know, I just had to keep knocking him up. But ones like this one in chamber 5, which if you remember was really loose, and we had some really thin discs on there, I think that was quite tricky to pick, and those discs really do have a lot of room to move around. So I think that, you know, giving the discs a lot of room is going to cause more problems, and perhaps those finer discs as well do cause some issues. I think the other thing as well that I would think of, I mean, you can see there pin 2 is actually stuck at the moment. I think it may be the case that sometimes when you play about with it and remove the key, there you go, if you look at number 4, is above shear, and it may be the case that as you pick it, some of the pins could already be set and not come into play. I think what that's caused by it is the discs that are, try and show you on this one doesn't have much movement, but when the discs kind of sit at an angle, you just see those at a slight angle there, they get caught up in the Bible quite easily. I think there's a few times where all of those discs were above shear, and all I had to worry about was just setting the head of the pin. So I think it might be an idea prior to cutting these discs down is to actually thin the diameter a little bit, so that there's less chance of that happening, and hopefully it'd be more likely that each time you remove the key, those pins will fall back down. You see there 2 stuck again, they will fall back down again, and I think that would be exaggerated by threading the Bible. So if you've got a challenge lock where the Bible's been threaded, I think those wafers, particularly those discs on 2, would really kind of get snagged up and cause a lot of problems. So yeah, and the other thing I think is a nice bit of counter milling in the plug would catch hold of the head of the pin really well. So that's all things that I'm going to put into practice next time I make a batch of these, but for now these will be heading out into a challenge lock near you, maybe. But there you go, that's my little analysis of these rattlesnake pins. I've really enjoyed making it. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll leave a little subscribe up there, so I appreciate if you hit subscribe, and I can do more videos like this for you in the future. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and bye for now.